to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie, and I thought I would film a video where I talk about my summer reads. Unfortunately, I have a lot of books here, I just realized, so I might have to make another one. I mean, unless I can do this really quick. And I also want to film my possible Tome Topple reads, because that's finally starting up this month. So let's get started, because it's going to take a while, and this might end up being in parts. Anyway, so like I said, I have a lot of books here, and a lot of them are actually, ironically, they're tomes. Okay, so, let's see. You know what, I'm just not going anywhere. Okay, so first, I finally want to start this one. As you can see, I already have. I got this back for a Christmas gift from my best friend Terry. The one from Florida. I think that was 2000. I think it was Christmas of 2016, or it was either Christmas of 2000. Yeah, because I think it was when we moved into this house. So I think it was Christmas of 2016 when I got it. So I need to get started on it now. I mean, the good news is I have, but again, the problem with me and tomes is there are so many other books that I want to read, and it takes me a long time to get through books this size. So, but that's what I love about Tome Topple, is it's very laid back, and it's 2 weeks, so they don't expect you to get the book done, but it's a good way to put a dent in your books, your tomes, or maybe even finish them if you're lucky. So, I gotta read that one. I also need to read this one. I totally forgot to grab. I also have to read, well, I'll get that in a minute. I need to read this one. This is a book from my sister. I read, she had she had this one along with Amy Tan's The Joy Luck Club, which I already read, and I figured I had decided to start with that one because I had seen the movie, so I was already familiar with the story and comfortable with it, and, I could get into it more because I knew what I was getting into. So now I gotta read this one so I can finally give it back to my sister, which reminds me, there. This one. So I want to read this one, and I'll definitely account for diversity in my goal to be more diverse with my reading, because it's about the Chinese culture, which I can kind of relate to because I am part Filipino. So. I also I borrowed from my sister. Well, actually, her husband is this one, and even though he said no rush, he doesn't want to read it right now, I still want to give it back to him. But the problem is, it's nonfiction, and this is a biography. And even though I've heard on BookTube that David McCullough is a very accessible writer, like when it comes to reading it. It's still a nonfiction biography, so it might. Although I was kind of interested because I did obviously start this one like back before we moved here. But again, I still kind of have to be in the right mood. But I am definitely interested in this one because I am interested in learning more about John Adams. And also, another book that I had over on that bookshelf that I grabbed was, I also should have grabbed The Other Bowling Girl. And that's another one I need to read that I might read this summer. And that is War of the Roses. Because the reason, actually what motivated me to get this book was because I was told, or I watched like a documentary kind of thing, where like George R. R. Martin kind of says that this was part of the inspiration for Song of Ice and Fire and the whole Starks versus the Lannisters. The whole War of the Roses war is what kind of inspired their little feud. So I want to read that one. And I also need to finish this one. I mean, I read a lot of this one, so I have a good chunk left to go, but still, I'm almost on at least on part 2 or 3. I don't know how many parts there are, I think. And we're getting to, I just have this little last part to read for, and then I get to a new character story, because it's multi-perspective story. It's not written in first person, but it's about, let me just double check. Yeah, it's not written in first person, but it's from different perspectives. You have the first perspective is from the main character, Mary Tolver, and then you have a little bit of perspective from her love interest, and then you have perspective from her granddaughter. So I'm almost to the granddaughter part, but I still have to read the last little chunk of the love interest part before I can get to that one. So I want to continue with this one. And then I want to continue. I started this one. The risk of this one is, I don't know if I really am into. I mean, I did read Red Badge of Courage actually before we moved here. That the summer before we moved, I decided to read it because I had it. It was a book that my sister had, probably had it for school, and I hadn't read it so I didn't have to read it for school. So I decided, you know what, I should check this out because I've been trying to, add on to my classics reading repertoire, and that one, I had that one, so I decided to read that one, and it was actually interesting. It was pretty good. I mean, it was definitely more, I was okay with it. I mean, and it wasn't, I guess, and this is probably because I wasn't forced to read it, I was more interested in that one than in The Things They Carried, because I had to read that in my college literature class, and that kind of bored me a little bit. So that's why I'm not sure about this book, but I got it from the bookstore, and my brother, and so it was an used, so it's an used copy, and it was kind of cheap, like $3 or $4, and I have been really interested in, like, the American Revolution and the Civil War, which is what this is about. This is the Civil War, not the American Revolution, but I've definitely been more interested in those storylines. So, like, I recently got into the show Turn, Washington Spies, and it's almost a little bit easier to watch something about that than to read about it in a book. But then again, I can also put a book, I can stop watching a TV show, but so this is a bit of a risky choice, but I'm going to try to read it, and maybe I'll like horror books more. Okay, next is I gotta read the third book in the Dragon Rider Chronicles. This is a middle grade about this kid, Javine, who is half human, half elf, and he gets to go to a school for dragon riders, which are kind of like the soldiers of this world. And of course, you're gonna find out that, of course, he has like a destiny and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if I've officially found that out yet, but there's something to do with his mother. So I really liked it. I liked the first two books. This was actually one I got from Supercon, and this is one of the third time I bought books from Supercon, and it was actually, the first couple times was kind of, I feel like it was a bit of a mistake, because then I have to get the next book if I liked it, and I have to get that one online, because these are like independent authors. They're not like, it's not like Sarah J. Maas or J.K. Rowling status. So I have to get online, and so this was the first time where all four books were, the publisher was selling all four books, or the agent or whatever, the author's books, so I was able to buy the whole series. So I gotta read the third book. Like I said, it's really fun and it's good. I mean, it's middle grade, so the writing style is not for everybody, but I definitely enjoyed it, and I want to continue it. And if you like middle grade, I definitely recommend seeing if you can find it online, if it's not in the stores. It's by Nicole Conway, and the first book is called Fledging. So if you guys are in, it's, like I said, it's pretty good. So it's about dragons. I also need to continue with, as you can see, this is another book that I've already started. It hasn't been that long, so it's not like, I might have to start over and read it again, but this is the second book in the Remnant Chronicles. And I really enjoy it. I'm really enjoying this trilogy so far. I enjoyed the first book, and the third book is really interesting, and it helps that the chapters aren't as long. Some of the chapters are kind of long, but it's getting to the point in the book where it's like, I'm going to definitely want to read, like, several chapters in a row, because I don't like when it gets to a kind of point where something is going on with the characters that it makes you uncomfortable in a good way, like it's tense and dramatic, and you just have to keep reading to make sure that everything is solved, and people realize, oh, this is not what's going on. It's all, or well, the good guys anyway, not the bad guys. The bad guys, you don't want them to figure out what's really going on. So, and unfortunately, they did ask me to come into work this afternoon because actually, it turns out there were people from, I think, corporate watching us, observing us. So I had to they asked me, they wanted to make sure everything was covered, so they asked me to come in. So I ended up not reading. I was going to read this morning, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to want to read several chapters, and I also want to watch booktube videos before I go, so I might read tonight in bed. I don't know. Depends on if I fall asleep. Because last night I was falling asleep. So I want to read that one. I'm going to continue with that one. I also got to continue my 2 novellas. I want to read them this summer. I read another story from this one because I only have, let's see. I only have 4 more stories to go. So I want to get those all done. And I think because I want to continue them, but it's just sometimes Kelly Links, I don't know if the other one I have first is going to be like this, but it's so magical realism as much as, like, I enjoy the Raven cycle and the magical realism story that I had to read in college was okay too, but this is just, it's so out there that it's really confusing. But I do want to finish it, and because maybe some of the stories won't be the last 4 stories won't be as confusing. I don't know, but I keep thinking, am I missing something? Because it's a Pulitzer Prize finalist, and a lot of people on Goodreads really love it, but there are a few people that don't, feel like me, so that was a nice little relief. So I gotta continue, but I do want to finish it, so that one is also going to happen, and I also want to read, okay, I'll take this down because I don't want those to fall, is some more stories from, I don't know how many, maybe 2 or 3 more from the Bane Chronicles, because this is another, I've decided that as much as I enjoy Cassandra Clare's books, what I think I'm going to do is now I'm going to buy the books and that of hers, because I don't know if they'll be at the library, and I think that will, and I want to take my time with it, so, and I'll only keep them for a little while, and then I'm going to donate them. So, I need to get this read so I can donate it. I think I need to keep Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy for a little while longer, because I just got that one last Christmas from my sister, so I feel like I owe it to myself and to her, and to Cassandra Clare's World, and Cassandra Clare, to keep it for a little while and read, and, take my time with it, so. But I had this one for a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and donate this to the bookstore when I'm done reading it. I'm not as in love with Cassandra Clare as I used to be. And maybe it's because I've been sucked into other stories, other authors' worlds. Okay, so some of these are just books I just grabbed right now because I actually made a list that wasn't this long. But I keep going back and forth with this one. Sometimes I think, okay, I've had it for a long time now. I still haven't read it, so I'm just going to donate it. But then I watched Sam from Sam's Nonsense talking about how much she loves this book. And I'm like, oh, no, I can't get it. I need to read it. So I keep debating about, I take it off, unhaul it, and put it in my bag of books that I'm going to give to donate, and then I'm like, oh, I don't know, though. Sam from Nonsense talks about how much she loves this book. So, yes, BookTube tends to influence me. Or at least certain BookTubers influence me. Because there are popular books that BookTubers, especially in the YA type books, that not all of them I'm interested in. Like The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, even though I read Becky Albertalli's The Upside of Unrequited, I wasn't in love with the book. It was cute and everything, but and then I have no interest in Rick Riordan right now. Maybe one day. So, but sometimes there are booktubers that do influence me, and Sam's nonsense makes me go back and forth with this book. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, I've had it for a while, I need to get rid of it, and other times like, I want to read it, I just haven't got around to it yet. So, it's on my list as of right now, but that might change again. Maybe I need to get that one right away. Okay, next is one that I bought a more recent purchase, and that is The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. This is, I think it was like Jen Campbell who was the person who talked about this book, and I decided to check it out. It might have been someone else, like Mercy's Bookish Musings or someone, but I've read a little bit of it. I haven't got very far. I think so far it's this family in the early 1900s, and the mother has a very overprotective relationship with her daughter, and she keeps warning her husband to be careful and stay out of the woods, and then she gets, I guess something happens to the little girl. I'm not very good with summing up books until like I've finished them. So I want to read this one as well. Okay, so I have so many, and this is probably going to turn into a 2-part video, so maybe in 3 parts. I also want to read The Shining by Stephen King, like another one that I've started. I'm very familiar with the story. It's like this man and his wife and son, who's, I think he's a bit psychic, like he sees ghosts and things like that. He can see people, he can see ghosts, and they get this job he gets to be a caretaker for the infamous Overlook Hotel, but of course it's up in the mountains, so they kind of get marooned at the hotel, and then slowly the man goes a little crazy being locked in that hotel. So I think most people have heard about The Shining, or you've at least seen the Stanley Kubrick movie, which ironically Stephen King was not pleased with. Okay, so next is, I also want to finish, I'm kind of in the middle of a bunny read, but like I said, I struggle with big books. This is Clash of Kings, and this is actually my second time reading this book. It still will take me forever to read it, but I am bunny reading this with a friend on Facebook, in my book group on Facebook, but we both kind of got sidetracked. Also, I want to read Lies of Locke Lamora. Sam from Thoughts on Tomes talks about this book all the time and how she loves it. So I might read this for Tome Topple. I really, I've been wanting to read it. I still need to buy Red Seas Under Red Skies, which is the second one. I did not realize that one was the second one. I thought Republic of Thieves was the second one. So I bought that one with this one. So now I can't read that one till I get the other one. Okay. I also need to read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which again is another one that I started. Like, I was inspired to bring it with me last time I went to South Carolina to visit my grandmother, and I started it, but I haven't read it since. So I need to get back into that. I mean, I've read a pretty good amount. More than some books. Okay, so next is Winter. This will be my second time reading this book, and again, this is a book I started, but have taken a break from it. Oh, I forgot. I forgot to grab it by Crooked Kingdom, which I did start, and I did get a good chunk into it, but I need to continue it. So that's on my list of books I want to read this summer as well, but I need to finish it. But anyway, this is the 4th book in the Lunar Chronicles it is the Snow White retelling of the story, because that is the Lunar Chronicles, in case you don't know, is a sci-fi retelling of some of the classic Grimm's Brother fairy tales, and it's a sci-fi adventure story, a long lost princess, and this is the 4th book in the series, the last book, and then there's a Stars Above is the part of the series when it has a bunch of, is the novella collection, and then they have Ferris, which is the prequel about our bad guy. It's her origin story. So, which was, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. So I'm on chapter 8 of this one, and Cress is my favorite. And then I think this one was my second favorite when I first read the series. So it's Cress, Winter, Scarlet, and then Cinder. So I want to continue with that one, but I'm trying to not read so many YA. Yeah, I've already read 13 YA. I want to expand. I want to read some adult books as well. So the next two are actually new adult, and that is Throne of Glass, the 5th book, and the 6th book. But I think these books go on at the same time in the timeline, so I might read these two at the same time. Which reminds me, let me check something. Yeah, so, oh crap, I almost ripped the page. So I can read this one. Yeah, I can read both of these for Tome Topple. So I could get away with that. I'm at the same time trying to find books I can read for Tome Topple. Another Stephen King that I need to read. I have 4 Stephen Kings on here that I need to read. This is The Ice the Dragon. This is one of his handful of fantasy books. This was like, I think this was funny. I think that he was dared to write this one. And the reason this has a shiny cover is I think my dad bought this from the library here when he was a teenager, and he gave it to me. I didn't realize it was Stephen King, so he asked me, do you want it? So I kept it, and I am determined to read it. I am determined to expand my Stephen King collection as well, so I want to read this one. I will continue reading this because I've already started reading this one. The problem with Stephen King is it never feels like enough when you read them because there is so much in the books. Even though the chapters are really short and you feel like you've read a lot, you haven't. So I want to read this one. I want to continue with that one. And I want to reread Kate Morton because I fell in love with Kate Morton. I love her books, and she has a new one coming out. I don't remember when it's coming out. I have to go on her website. But this was my second favorite of hers. Although this might be changed because, my love for the Forgotten Garden might change. April from Getting Hygge with It made me think about that. I loved it when I first read it, and maybe I'll still love it after I read it for the second time, because I do want to read that one also. I want to read all of the books I have read of hers, but, this is one of my favorite, as of right now, this is my second favorite Kate Morton. So I want to read this one, reread it. And I just read The Paying Guest by, Sarah Waters, and I bought this one along with The Night's Watch. So I decided I'm going to read this one first out of her books because I've already read The Paying Guest. I loved it, and I want to continue reading her books, so I'm going to read this one. Which I think this is more like early 1800s about I don't know, that's going to waste time. Okay, so I'm trying to get into Gothic graphic novels, but a graphic novel costs about the same amount of a big book, so I don't go out and buy them willy-nilly, but when Terry comes from Florida, I told her that she's going to pick me out some graphic novels of my 3 favorite villains, 3 favorite characters in the Gotham universe for me to read, and I'm going to buy them. So right now I do have this one, Sirens, which is about the women of Gotham. You have Selena Kyle, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and you have Harley Quinn. So I'm gonna read. I read it. I read some of it already, but that was a long time ago, like a couple years ago. So now I'm going to reread it and give it another chance. Oh, there's Harley Quinn and oh my God, Harley Quinn and Edward Nygma become a couple for a little while. Oh, that's interesting. So I want to read this one. I don't even think I really finished it, so I'm gonna read it. One of my first graphic novels. Oh, I forgot to grab ElfQuest. ElfQuest is the other one, the other graphic novel, which, by the way, is a really cool fantasy graphic novel. It's about elves, but it's a little science fiction-y because the elves are actually from outer space. They came down to Earth, and the elves in ElfQuest kind of remind me of Native Americans, and just so like I feel like it's a mix between the Lord of the Rings elves and then the cute little elves and the cookies and toys for boys and girls. You know, cute but badass at the same time. So that's the other graphic novel. But this video is already getting pretty long, and I might stop it in a few minutes. Let me just get through these. So I also need to continue. This is the last book I need to read for my reread of the Harry Potter series. So I gotta read Deathly Hallows. And then I'm going to put these away in a box. I want to get the audio with Stephen Fry's reading of the audio. I want to get that one. I really though wish that Harry Potter would come out with audio reads of it, but with a full cast, like a bunch of different people playing each of the characters. But then I guess maybe they won't do that because they already had the movie. So it'll be like a movie, but without a visual. But I need to finish this one, and this could be Tome Topple as well. So I'm gonna, and then I think I'm gonna stop right there before this video gets too long. I'm not done yet, but I will do another part. So I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and click subscribe if you haven't already. Much love to my already subscribed readers. I hope you are enjoying your reading this summer. And if you feel free to let me know in the comment section below what you are currently reading. And I will talk to you guys later. Stay tuned for part 2 of this long list of books I want to read this summer. Alright, bye!